Welcome to the one,
the only
Danica Daycast! This is episode 22.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but it's episode 22. And we're sorry, we know there's been a little bit of a break, but we have good news. After this episode, there will be another little break.
That's not good news.
And we're taking some time off until like mid to late June. And when we come back, we will be better than ever. Or maybe we will be as good as we've ever been. Or I don't know. We'll be something. Anyways.
We'll be different.
We hope you enjoy this episode. We've been busy over the last little while. One of the really big things we've been doing is Collection 6.
Yeah,
Collection 6.
6.
We have new art. Look at it. Look at it. It's on our website, danicadaydreams.ca, or if you're in the States, danicadaydreams.com.
Danica Daydreams!
It's been cool, though. Like, it's our first new collection since we released Collection 5, the Bear Art Collection, which, if you like that art, haha, it's gone. But it's the first one. It's the first one we've done since Collection 5, which was released on, like, Black Friday. But I'm really happy with it. And you, I think, have knocked it out of the park. Like, especially because with this, like, we've gone to, like, a new process, right? Like, before we were having another company make everything for us.
Yeah, it was a leap a bit.
Yeah.
With the learning the whole process of the pressing and everything.
Yeah. But now you're, like, heat pressing the shirts. Like, we still don't print them ourselves.
Yeah,
Maybe
and I
one
feel
day.
like a pro.
But yeah, you are a pro. I mean, this is your profession. You're doing it professionally. So no, I'm super impressed. For anyone who missed like the live stream or anytime we talked about it, basically the big change with the new stuff is we're doing it in-house, and instead of it being direct-to-garment printing, which our old stuff was, where they just spray ink right on the actual clothes, with this we have them print out a transfer, you heat press that on, and then bim bam boom, the artwork's there.
Yeah.
Couple of the reasons why we decided to do it is, first of all, everything goes through us now. So if you order multiple things, you're probably going to get them all in one package. It also means we're the ones doing quality control. And speaking of quality, we had with the old stuff, most people loved it. Most people had great experiences. But we ran into a few situations where there's too much heat, for example, right? Too much heat in the dryer or in this or that. And it damaged the prints. But this stuff, we've been washing it over and over and over again. Still looks great. Still looks vibrant, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Are you happy? I know you've got more work now, but
yeah, now I got more work, but I think it's a good experience. It's a good time to learn everything.
Yeah.
Before I get too old and
before
these bones get rusty and I can't.
If you're getting
do anything.
If you're getting rusty bones,
rusty bones.
I think you got a problem.
You know what I mean? Like before I get too old and I'm like,
yeah. I also think you did an amazing job at the market. We did the Toronto Artisan Market, which if you missed us there, we'll be back. I can't remember. We're not there for June. I think we're there for July and August. Yeah. Maybe September. I can't remember.
You're the one that's supposed to know. I don't know these things.
Check us out on Instagram. We post everything that we do there. But we're going to be... Actually, yeah, so we're doing the Guelph Handmade Market a few times. We're doing Guelph Art on the Street. We are doing the Toronto Artisan Market. We're doing Big on Bloor in Toronto. And those are fun markets. I feel like I'm missing one. If I am, it's just because we've been busy lately. But I think you did great at the market. It was our first market since last fall.
Nobody asked for the 3D glasses, but you gave some anyways.
I was so disappointed.
You broke your promise.
Yeah, I said I would not give someone 3D glasses unless if they asked for them. But nobody came up to me and said, "Dan, do you have any glasses? I would like to watch Spy Kids 3D, please." Yeah,
Daniel was about to cry. He's like, "Nobody asked."
But like we ran into like a few situations where I was like, "Oh, these people seem cool. They seem like they could they'd enjoy Spy Kids 3D. Game over with Machete. Oh, Machete's such a good movie. We just watched that also."
Yeah.
But anyways, we had a few people who like after talking to them for a while, I'm like, they would appreciate this. So I'd be like, hey, weird question. Do you want some 3D glasses? And if I give them to you, will you watch Spy Kids 3D? And like some people looked at me weird, but we had one couple near the end who was like, yeah, I'm gonna get that movie. I'm gonna get it. I'm like, I bought a copy on eBay for $5. Here's what you can do. Blah blah blah. So we're spreading the good word. We're letting the people know.
Well, you're spreading the good word. I'm just going along with it because I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You gotta make Daniel's dream come true.
You do. Everyone needs to. Everyone watch Spy Kids 3D. That's all I ask. I think it went great though, and a couple cool things. Like we saw familiar faces, and we saw some people who were like, there's this one guy who lives in a totally different end of Toronto, and he was like, the only reason I came to this market is because I heard you talk about it in your email, and like, you know, it's so great. And he came by, he was like so excited to see us. He's like, I want to get here early so I can buy stuff before it sells out. We're like, yes. Unfortunately, we didn't have like a ton of our new art just because we had so much of the old art with us, you know?
Yeah, we wanted to get rid of some of that.
I wouldn't say get rid of, but yeah.
Yeah.
we want to sell some of our old stuff. And we did. We sold definitely a good little amount. So our next market, it's one of the Guelph ones, either Guelph art on the street or the Guelph handmade market. But over there is where we'll have kind of more of our new Collection 6 stuff. Another thing to say too about Collection 6 is, since we're the ones buying it, I mean, there's only so much stock we can have on hand. So if you do like the art, don't wait. Order now. DanicaDaydreams.ca in Canada, DanicaDaydreams.com in the US. Because we've already sold out of, I think, 2 different like crew neck colors. I think we're good on t-shirts now. I can't remember, but we're starting to sell out of stuff, which is kind of
order now.
Interesting. Order now. Another thing I loved at the market was we had these like 2 little girls come by the booth.
Oh yeah, they were so excited. They were like, "Look at this! They have 3 eyes! Look at this! Look at that!"
The art blew their minds. They were like, "Oh look, it's a pickle! Oh look, it's an octopus! It's a pear!" And then this one has 3 eyes.
And then the mother apologized, and we were like, "No, if every customer was like this, we'd be in heaven."
Yeah, that'd be perfect. So it was good. I'm glad. Last year we had a great time doing markets, but I think the big issue is just that we did too many markets and they were too spread out, right? So it was Hamilton one week, Ottawa the next week, Kingston, Barrie, Toronto, Guelph. It was a lot.
It was too many.
And we
it was like almost every weekend, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. There was a period of time where we did 14 markets in 14 weeks. So it was nearly every weekend for a big, long stretch of time. And this year...
But we got some muscles
that
summer.
And then I lost them all.
Yeah, we lost them all after.
But And then this year, our kind of strategy is like, let's pull back a little bit. We don't need to like do like 1 million, but let's do some of our favorites from last year. Which isn't to say the ones that we don't do aren't our favorites. There are other reasons why we didn't do some markets. But overall, I'm really excited about every single market that we have coming up. And if anybody likes to see us and they live in Ontario, then check us out. Well, really, if you live in, I think Toronto and Guelph is really where we are. Someone asked us if we were going to do Kempenfest in Barrie, and that was something that was like, we did last year. We had a good time, but it was a big festival, and I think this year, taking it off, hopefully next year. Oh, Kingston. We're doing the Kingston Art Fest. How did we forget that? Yeah. That's
the only one that's really far away from here.
I don't know if that's coming up. Our fridge or something's making noises.
Yeah.
So,
It's fridge farts.
Fridge farts. Speaking of Spy Kids, though, we saw Machete. And like I've never seen
blood
that movie.
and guts.
Oh my god, I love it. And
I love it when he spins around and all the heads go off.
There's that scene. There's also that scene where he like jumps out the window, but he uses like a guy's intestines as rope to like get himself down.
That part was weird. I didn't think that was gonna be in it.
Yeah,
I was like, what? What's going on?
We gotta watch the second one now, but I thought it was great.
Does it end just at the second one? There's not a third one.
I don't think there's a third one, which is too bad because the end of the first one, they tease like two more. They say like, he will be back, Machete will be back, and Machete kills, and Machete kills again.
Yeah, that's why I was asking you because it doesn't say.
Yeah, but I think it's just the one more.
Yeah, that's too bad.
But, Oh, and also apparently that started as a fake movie trailer in like Quentin Tarantino, something called like Grindhouse, which we should check out sometime. But apparently it started as a fake movie trailer, and then they like eventually made it into a real movie.
What? What did they make?
Machete.
Oh yeah.
Machete originally was just like a fake trailer. And then I don't know the full story. I need to learn more about this stuff. But then they were like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it." And I'm so glad that they did. I love over the top stuff. I love something where they can realize it's a little bit ridiculous and they really lean into it. You know, I like that more than. I mean, there's a time and place for everything. There was a time where the quieter, more reserved kind of things are good. But sometimes you just want something that's all at once, and that's what Machete was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you expecting it to be all like blood and guts?
Yeah,
and,
100%.
Like, really bloody.
But like me, like I'm not good with some movies. Usually it's not so much a violence thing as much as like a scary thing. But I was worried still it would be like too violent for me. But no, it was cool. I loved it. I loved it all the way throughout. I hope they make a third one. We haven't seen the second. Maybe it doesn't live at the end of the movie. I really don't know. I don't know what happens. But yeah, what a film.
Yeah,
What
that
a
was
film.
great. I thought it would be like too like blood and guts to like eat while it was playing, but it was
wasn't-
okay.
It was a really weird movie to like watch while eating.
Yeah.
For sure.
But it was okay because you
Yeah.
know that in your mind you're like, I know it's not real blood, you know.
Yeah, we made it out of it all right.
Yeah.
We did good.
Um,
No, I was just thinking one thing. I think is it called The Good Doctor? Have you heard about the show? I keep seeing clips of it.
Oh yeah, there's that
Online.
meme, yeah, where the
surgeon.
surgeon, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what really happens.
I
though.
hate okay. And to be fair, I don't want to be someone who says like you can't make that joke, blah, blah, blah. But speaking as an autistic person, it really bugs me.
What's the
So-
joke in the?
So what it is, because I at first like TikTok is always introducing me to like shows that like I wouldn't watch otherwise. So like I keep like flipping through, and like there was like a good month or so where I'd see like random clips from this show called, I think it's The Good Doctor. That's what it's called, right? With the autistic
Yeah,
guy.
but I tried to watch that, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
It was just too like. It just looked too fake for me, like watching
Like it didn't seem like a realistic like portrayal of autism.
Yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
seem like realistic like portrayal of autism, and also like I felt like a lot of things were exaggerated, and then I just couldn't watch it.
That's fair.
It was too much.
And there are people who well, first of all, the little bit I've seen has been like, I like it, but yeah, I wasn't totally like sold on his like portrayal. But also, I'm not going to act like I know everything about autism. But also, I am autistic, and the guy that plays him is not. There's a whole debate about that stuff. My position, as always, is the most important thing to me isn't whether or not the actor that plays the character is autistic. The most important thing to me is whether or not that autism. Sorry. The most important thing to me is that it's done thoughtfully and respectfully, right? And it doesn't have to be a perfect performance, but if it can be a very good performance,
Yeah.
then I see it as it can be a positive for kind of like the autism community. Like a great example of that is Atypical. I started watching that show. That's played by an allistic actor, right? He's not autistic. But it was watching that show that really got me to start wondering, maybe I'm autistic. Maybe it got those gears really turning. There was a little bit of that in my head before, but that was the big thing where I'm like, oh, I can relate to this. I can relate to this. Anyways, I have no issue with the actor and The Good Doctor being autistic. Sorry, not being autistic. That's not really the point of what I'm trying to say. The point of what I'm trying to say is there's a show called The Good Doctor. The character in the show, the main character, is this autistic guy. I haven't really watched much of it. I've just seen clips on TikTok. Some clips I'm like, that's pretty good. And other clips I'm like, yeah. But there have been clips that like I think he does do a great job at. I've seen 2 different clips where he has a total meltdown, right? He has an autistic meltdown. One of which is, I think like somebody like dies on his watch or something. Someone says that they're going to like, things will be okay and that they'll like be there for them. And then that person isn't. And he's freaking out at them. Sorry, he's having a meltdown and he keeps yelling at the person. and saying, you lied to me, 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 right? And he's breaking down. I watched that. I was moved by that scene, right? Because autism, once again, it's a whole range. Everyone's experience is different. But as both somebody who is autistic and somebody who, my friends, my family, some of my favorite people in the world are autistic. So I've seen autistic meltdowns. I've experienced autistic meltdowns myself firsthand. In looking at his portrayal, I thought it was relatable, right? I thought that actor did a good job at portraying an autistic meltdown. So there's that scene there that I only saw the one time on TikTok. And then there's the other scene that keeps being thrown around, which is where he's talking to someone else at the hospital. I don't know if he's a doctor. I don't know how hospitals work. He's talking to someone basically, and he's going to lose his job as a surgeon. And he has a meltdown and he breaks down and he keeps repeating, I am a surgeon, I am a surgeon, I am a surgeon, I am a surgeon. He keeps going on and on and on and on about it. And he's crying and he's yelling, and the other doctor is, kind of keeping his composure. And that's the clip, though, that we keep seeing like shared around online. And maybe it's because it's being shared without context. Maybe it's because people don't recognize it's an autistic character. Maybe people think, who's this guy? He's just overreacting, yada, 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 yada. Right? Maybe that's it. If I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. But it just, every time I see that, it doesn't sit right with me, because they take something that's serious, something that is a real autistic experience, and it's just people laughing at it. It's people laughing at somebody who's in this difficult situation, and I don't know. I don't know. To be fair, there's it's not like people just laugh at autistic people and go, hey, everyone else, we're cool with you. We're not going to laugh at you. There's every group has people that will laugh at them for one thing or another, right? But as an autistic person, I can say, I don't know, just I don't feel good when I see it. What I wish is, instead of people seeing that reaction and laughing at it, I wish that there'd be more of a response of, wait, this is something that happens with autistic people? This is kind of common? This. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm going to learn a little bit more, right? I think that's also expecting too much of the internet,
Yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of want to say it doesn't sit right with me when I see that. And people are going to make insensitive jokes, and I'm not trying to police things. I think you should be able to joke about whatever you want to joke about. But at the same time, too, if someone's going to joke about it, I've the full right to say, I don't like that joke. I don't appreciate that joke. And there's a lot of great and beautiful things about autism, but autism comes with its challenges. And I wish that when we saw discussions about challenges that autistic people go through, I wish that more of those discussions were sincere and fewer of them were mocking. Yeah.
Yeah, I think with everything, like, you're just gonna make people are gonna make fun of what they want to make fun of, but like, you just gotta like turn around and like just be like, oh, I didn't see this, or
yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. Like, I'm not coming to the comment section and trying to like that never works, by the way. That never works. Saying
yeah.
So I'm not commenting on other people's stuff, but this is our content. This is where I can speak my mind, and that's how I feel. So yeah, I'd like for those memes to go away, but also too, it's the internet. So first of all, me saying that like, oh, I like to see like people stop joking about this stuff, that can definitely lead to more of that stuff happening, right?
Yeah, it backfires everybody.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And also, Also, is it okay for me to say that I'm uncomfortable with that joke? Because the reason I'm uncomfortable with it is because it's happening to someone of my group, right? Where I probably wouldn't be as vocal if it's a joke about... If there's a joke that I felt was cruel about someone in another group, right? Without being specific on anything, but just someone in another group, someone makes an equally insensitive joke, would I be sitting on this podcast and talking about that? Would I be discussing that? And if I was to be discussing it, would I be discussing it to the same extent that I am because of autism?
I think we'd be discussing it, but not at the same extent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I guess is probably would be the same situation if you flip that too, right? If there's somebody from... I don't want to... I really don't want to name specific groups. But if there's somebody from like another group that's not mine, then they might make content saying, this is how I feel about this, but they'd be less likely to make content talking about autism if they're not autistic, for example. Here, I'll choose you. Dyslexia,
Well,
for example, right? If somebody
people
was...
make fun of that like all the time. I'm just used to it.
Yeah. But
I don't really like think about it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like, high school was a tough time.
Yeah.
But like honestly, I just don't really get it. Like, so what? I have well, most of the time it's because like teachers put you on the spot and then you have to read out loud. And then like that's when like other people laugh, but honestly, like I don't really get why it's such a big like laughing issue. I don't know.
Yeah. I think people in general are just more sympathetic. The more someone can like personally relate to someone else's experience, I think the more they sympathize with that experience. I think in general too, there's always this pressure to be like everyone else. That's kind of what we always talk about too with our business, right? The whole embrace the weirdness that life has to offer. And the fact that our business cards say stay strange on them, right? The fact that our t-shirts, the labels say stay strange. The reason is because we've both had experiences growing up where people have recognized that we're not quite like them. Our brains are a little different, right? Some people are cool with that. Some people really aren't cool with that, right? And especially growing up as kids can be mean. If you're different, they'll call you weird. If you're different, they'll call you strange. That's why we tell people to stay strange. That's why we tell people to embrace the weirdness that life has to offer, because the way I see it, you can either say, no, I'm not weird. I'm just like you. Ha ha ha. You can try to fake it. And I spent a lot of time trying to fake it. And I still do. I'm not going to act like I don't mask. Of course I do. Of course I do. I try to do it less, but of course I do. I act differently with you than I act with anybody else on this planet. That's a fact, right? But what I'm trying to say is you can either try to prove to them how much you fit in, how normal you are, how you're just like them. But you're not. You never will be. And even if you can successfully fake it, it won't sit well with you. At least it didn't sit well with me, although I'd never successfully faked it. So I think the real answer is just to go, I don't need to be part of your group. I don't need to be just like you, right? You're going to call me weird, so fine, I'm weird. Deal with it. This is who I am. This is what I am. And as long as you're not doing anything to harm another person, just let people live. Yeah. Just let people be themselves. And I think the more that we see people take those steps and slowly over time come out of their shell, I think we'll slowly see more and more people escape that idea of like this like normal mold that we all have to kind of fit into. And I think we'll realize it doesn't exist. There's going to be some groups of more people than others, but
that's the thing I think about all the time is like I don't really think anybody's normal.
Yeah, everyone's weird.
Everybody's got their weird little kinks and their
Yeah.
weird things that they believe in, and you know,
I mean, the weird kinks.
like you know, like those like some people like have like weird habits. I don't know.
Yeah, but
yeah.
you don't mean when you say kink, you don't mean like in the bedroom.
Oh no, I mean
Okay.
just like.
But that's fine too. As long as it's consenting adults, I really don't care. I really don't care.
No, that's not what I meant.
Okay.
I just meant like, you know, when like you're clumsy or like
Yeah.
you do like something you do repetitively even though you don't.
Yeah.
You don't notice.
Yeah. You talking about me specifically?
No.
I'm teasing you. Yeah, I don't know. I think the other thing too is like no matter what, when you break it down, there's always going to be like this like one group of people. There's going to be the most popular group basically, and I think that it's like really easy for us to look at the most popular group and go, "Oh, that's normal. That's the default. That's this." But if you strip away that idea of like that being the default, and if you just look at individual actions, you'll see there's a lot of weird stuff about them too. The only reason it's considered normal is because it's more popular. It's more popular. There's more people in that group than in that group, right?
Yeah.
That's it. I don't want to call out specific stuff because then I'll be the guy that's like, you know, hey, this stuff's fine, but what you're doing is wrong. But I think at the very least, there's plenty of stuff that neurotypicals, for example, think is weird about autistic people. But there's also, from an autistic perspective, tons of weird stuff that neurotypicals do, right? And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think everyone should just be weird, just be themselves. Don't try to fit into the group. But also, it's easier said than done. It's a day-by-day process. And yeah, I don't know. Throw me in an uncomfortable situation, and you'll see the mask come on pretty quickly. And many situations are uncomfortable for me too.
I can't really mask.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I'm too weird for that.
I like that. I love that about you.
Yeah.
Hey, one question that I have, not just for you, but for the audience, totally changing subjects. When is the early 2000s? What years? When someone says early 2000s to you, what years do you think of?
2010? Is that too far away?
Okay, so you would say 2000 to 2010?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. Because for me, the early 2000s, whenever I think early 2000s, I think 2000 to 2002, 2003, early 2000s, 2004 to 2006, mid 2000s, 2007 to 2009, late 2000s. That's what I think of. But I've started seeing more and more online. People talk about like, oh, Poker Face by Lady Gaga is like one of my favorite songs of the early 2000s. Or
when is that song?
I think like 2008 or something, right?
Oh, okay.
Or like I don't know. Obama was the best president of the early 2000s. I haven't heard that specific one,
I
but
just feel like the more like later on you go, the better it gets. Like I feel
but
like
that's not, I'm not talking about the quality of the years here. I'm saying when people talk about the early 2000s, what years do you think of?
Like, yeah, the later years. I don't know.
Okay, well, because for me, when someone says 2000s, I think decade, right? Starts in 2000, ends in 2009, then we're at the 2010s, then we're in the 20s, 30s, yada, 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 right? But 2000s isn't just a decade. The 2000s can be the century, it can be the millennia, right? So what I've seen more and more online is, yeah, people will talk about 2006 being part of the early 2000s, 2008, 2009. I asked my little brothers who are teenagers and asked them, when you think of the early 2000s, what do you think of? One of my brothers said 2000 to 2008, which I thought was a really interesting answer. And he said the reason was because anything past that seems too recent, right? It seems kind of like the now. So kind of going back there seems a little bit further back, especially from the perspective of like a 13-year-old. It definitely would be. Another brother said 2000 to 2010. Once again, my answer is 2000, 2003. I'm thinking the decade.
Oh, so I'm not alone with the 2000
No.
to 2010.
My brother also, who said the 2000 to 2008 thing, he brought up another thing, which is that like it's relative and it's going to change as more time goes on, as we get further and further away from these last couple decades. Maybe it'll change to 2000 to 2020, for example, which I've already seen people say. I've seen people say, or 2000 to 2019. I've seen people say like the first 2 decades of this century, of this millennia, are the early 2000s. And for me, that's crazy.
But that's a bit.
Here's the flip side. If you say to me, hey, Dan, do you think 1913 is a part of the early 1900s? I go, yeah, of course it is. Because when you say 1900s, I think century, right? So I don't think, oh, the early 1900s, that's from 1900 to 1903. But my mind's still kind of there with the 2000s. When is it? Where is it? How is it? Who is it? I'm curious to know what all you think. Like, when someone says the early 2000s to you, what years do you think that's covering? And has it always been like that for you, or did that change? I feel like it's a more recent thing. I want to say the last, like, 3 or so years, I've seen it come up more and more kind of online about, Transformers was one of the best movies of the early 2000s, or Batman, The Dark Knight, great early 2000s movie.
But that wasn't that long
2008.
ago. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it feels like yesterday.
No, we're getting old. I think that's the other thing too. I think it's probably like a generational thing. I think that the older you are, the more likely that you'll associate it with that because you were kind of around when they were talking about that stuff. But if you were born 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, yada, 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 you probably won't think of it like that. So let me know in the comments below, like when someone says the early 2000s to you, what years do you think of? And have you always thought of that? And if you haven't, when did that change? And I guess feel free to throw your age in there too. I'm curious about all that, you know? It's cool to see that stuff change. It's cool to see how like definitions and like words change over time. It's all made up anyways. And I also love the fact that we are out of the 2010s. I know I'm late to the party here. We've been out of that decade for a while, but I hate the name 2010s. Okay?
Why?
Because think about it. 2000s makes sense as a decade name. Although other people call it things like the aughts, I think, is what some people call it, because it's like a circle. I don't know. But 2000s works because 2001, 2002, 2008, 2009, right? Makes sense. Now we're in the 20s. You could say 2020s, but I don't think the 1900s has like permanent dibs on the 20s. So I say we're in the 20s now, and a decade will be in the 30s, and another decade will be in the 40s, and yada, 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 yada. My ears just went. Do you hear anything weird? Is that just me? Do you hear a ringing?
No.
I hear a ringing right now.
Well,
okay.
Better get your ears checked. You're getting old.
This is the second time this has happened to me today.
Oh, no. It's a sign.
Where was
getting mega old.
Okay, so here's my thing, though. Here's my thing. So 2000s. 2000, 2002, 2008, 2006, 2009, yada, yada, yada. It's always 2000 something, okay? Now we're in the 20s. 2021, 2024, 2026, 2029, right? But you go back a decade, the 2010s, really? That's only true for one of the numbers, 2010. It's not like you say 2010 1, 2010 2, 2010 3.
What if you say 20 teens?
I think it should be the teens, but then you're excluding 2010, 2011, 2012. But then 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. That makes more sense.
I don't know.
How about French? How do you count? No, because you still have ons, deux, tres, quatorze.
Yeah. There's some...
I'm just saying it bothers me. We need a better name for our decades. I don't know. That's all I got.
You always like comparing like this and that and saying like we need better names, we
We
need better
do.
this.
We do.
But like I feel like you're being too harsh on like the words we choose.
I don't know why. I was
Like the society chooses to define like certain like years or things, and you're like they should have came up with a better thing.
I don't know. I'm always fascinated by names or words because I think like the interesting thing with words is like people take it as like this is. You ever hear people talk about that's a made up word, that's a fake word, that doesn't count. All words are made up. What are you talking about? All of this is new. All of this is we're always moving around and rearranging and language is changing and none of it makes sense. And I mean, I know there's rules and stuff. But yeah, I'm always so fascinated. Like man used to be the word for our species, right? It used to be whether it's a man or a woman, it'd be man. Sorry. Man used to be the word for the human species. It was man. And I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation. I've just read this. But then there was like wifman or wifeman, something like that, which was woman. And then there was wereman. Sorry, then there was where, something like that, which was, which is where like werewolf comes from, right? So then the wifman became woman and wereman became man. Sorry. There was man, or was it just where and with wife, woof, woof, woof. Okay, let me restart this real quick.
Okay.
Way back in the day, man was the word for human, like just like flat out. Like I know you can still technically use it, but like flat out that was the word. And then the word for like men was wereman, something like that, and that's where werewolf comes from. And then women were wifemen or wifmen, something like that. And that's where wife comes from. And that makes so much more sense to me because the way we have it right now makes no sense. I think what we should do, quick fix, it take everyone a little while to get used to it. But if we're going to keep our existing words, flip man and human, right? Because we've done this before. You've heard me say this a lot of times. But Monica, come up with a random word on the spot.
Blueble?
Okay, cool. Blueble. Okay. So let's say I give you 3 words and I say, Monica, you need to come up with a name for the species, the male, and the female. Okay, what was yours? Blueble?
Blueble.
Blueble? Okay. So I say, okay, Monica, the 3 words for the species and then male and female, yada, 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 are blueble, red blueble, and orange blueble. And you can have those for whatever word you want, okay? You can match it with whatever. How do you match it? What's the word for males?
Is this a test?
No, there's no wrong answer.
There's a test,
There's
right?
no wrong answers. There's no wrong
This
answers.
is a test.
Sure.
I see you're making the test face.
I'm just trying to say a point. Okay.
Okay, the orange blue blah blah whatever is for man, and then the blue is for women.
There's no blue. Okay. There's
blueble.
There's blueble, red blueble, and orange blueble. Okay.
Okay.
And for those 3, you have to come up with woman, man, human.
So the two color ones are the
red blueble and orange blueble.
Yeah.
So you have blueble, red blueble, and orange blueble.
Yeah.
Okay?
So the 2 colored ones that you said, those are women and men.
Okay.
Men.
And then the species is blueble.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That makes sense. That's how it should. That makes sense. That's how it should be. But we don't do that with English, with like man, woman, and human, right? What it should be is man is the species, right? And then hue and woe should be like, the variants, right? So woman, human, man. I think that would make so much more sense because when I gave you that example of make up new words, it wasn't, you didn't go, okay, well, the woman would be the orange blueble and man would be blueble, and then the species would be red blueble. You go, what are you talking about? Why would you do it like that? Why did it have to be hue and woe, male or female? I don't care. And throw in other ones there. I'm fine with that. But just have man as the species. Or come up with new words. I don't care. Maybe that would be easier.
Is it because there's man and woman? Because it's woman.
Yeah. One man, human, and then man. So all of them have man.
Yeah, that's
so,
true.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? If every one of the words has the man, then maybe man should be a species instead of the human.
Totally. That makes no sense. I don't know if it's like that's just how our language like happened, because we used to have it right. It used to be man. I think it was like man with like 2 N's or something. That's how we used to have it, and we were good then. Like when our language was really at its peak was like 600 years ago. Ooh, those were the times.
That's what you think.
But yeah, I don't know where we strayed. I don't know if it's like some old sexist thing. I don't know if it's supposed to be like women come from, the rib of the Adam's rib or something like that. Maybe that's it.
Maybe it's religion. I don't know.
Yeah, but
that changed it. I don't know.
Yeah, I really don't know. But I say we change it back. We had it right. We had it right. Anyways.
Yeah, I feel like you always have to like you be right, Daniel, and you always have to like have something that makes more sense.
It's not that I enjoy being right. It's just I really don't enjoy everything else being wrong. That's my issue. That's my issue. But yeah, that's a common critique of me, I guess you could say.
I've heard it many times before.
People say I'm argumentative, and I'm not really going to deny that. But 2 things I'll say is, first of all, I can't imagine anything more boring than having a conversation with somebody who always agrees with me. What's the point? I've been in those before. They're no fun. Okay, a few things. First of all, it's good to talk to someone who has a different opinion than you. You don't want to just talk to the same people throughout your life, right? You share ideas, yada, yada, yada. Get someone else's perspective. It's all cool. The other thing, too, is oftentimes when I'm in a conversation, if somebody says something that is very different than my opinion, I don't understand why it would be okay for them to share their opinion, but I can't share my opinion, right? Why aren't both?
Yeah.
Okay. If you say, oh, I love putting chocolate on my carrots. It's the most delicious treat. And I say, I like putting peanut butter on my carrots. It's the most delicious treat. And this is why I like it. Like, people see that as an argument, but with me, it's more just them saying, here's my thing. I'm saying, oh, well, here's my thing, and I never understand, too, if someone like really doesn't want to like have that argument, why
did they bring it up in the first place?
Why do they bring it up, and why do they keep it going, right? It takes 2 to tango, right? If I'm arguing with somebody, it's because I'm choosing to be in that argument, And I don't know when it becomes an argument, right? It always seems like if I say something that someone disagrees with, then they say I'm trying to start an argument, because I'll say something someone disagrees with, and then they say that they disagree with it, but I started the argument. But if someone says something that I disagree with, and then I say I disagree with that, then I started the argument. Like, I feel like it's a lose-lose. I had a third point. What was my third point? Oh, yeah, and the other thing, too, is, like, you should always be able to tell someone that they're wrong about something in a polite and respectful way. Don't get me wrong, but some people just can't be wrong about anything, right? And they take it as like an ego hit. And I will say I'm somebody who very often, if someone says that I'm wrong, I often will say, no, I'm not, because of this. But a lot of my opinions aren't things that I've come up with on the fly. A lot of my opinions are me focusing on the same topic for months and months and months and months and months. And somebody saying one line to me isn't going to change that. Sometimes it does. Sometimes there's things, oh, I was being stupid. I didn't think of that, right? But yeah, I don't know. But you know me.
I know
I'm an opinionated person.
No, it goes on in the brain of the Daniel.
Can you tell me? Because I really don't. I'd love to find out.
I thought you would know.
I've tried. I figured some stuff out. Always learning.
Like, when you think of like the little people up in your brain, what do you think they look like?
See, That's a great example of like different people being different. I don't think there's little people in my brain. I'm not a SpongeBob episode in here.
No, but sometimes, yeah, I think that there's like little Squidwards or little SpongeBobs like running in my mind and like, oh my god, she said this. Oh my god, let's go get the papers. Ah, where are the papers? And then like everybody starts panicking in the brain and then
when you think something, is there like that voice in your head, or do you just think the thing? Like, for example, if you're thirsty and need some water, do you think to yourself, oh, I'm going to drink that water? Or does your brain just like automatically do it?
normally like I just like an image pops up in my head like of me drinking water. I'm like, that looks good, and then I do it.
Interesting. Yeah, with me, there's always that little voice there, and I find it interesting because like I always assumed everyone is kind of like me in that way, but no, 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 no.
No,
I can't remember. I think my group has more people.
What?
I think my group has more people.
More people for what?
I think I'm the more popular one, which doesn't matter. It doesn't mean it's right. There's no right or
For
wrong.
what?
Just having that voice, having that, you know.
Well, like I can have that voice, but it's very rare. Like I rarely like hear anything in my head. It's like pretty much silence and images
Yeah, I'm
popping
not.
up.
Anything that's like visual for me in my head is like foggy. You know, there's cool stuff in that fog. Don't get me wrong; it's a pretty rad place to be, but yeah, it's foggy.
I don't know. I just see it like very colorful up in here, and it's just like images for everything, and I visualize everything. I think it's part of being an artist. It's like,
well, I'm an artist too.
But yeah, I know, but it's like a different form of.
Yeah, but I like.
It's still visual, but like it's not. You're not like constructing everything like in your head all the time.
I mean, I am.
But I mean, like for you,
it's just not like clear. It's just not like.
It's a different
like is in focus. It's concepts and ideas though. But like you've seen, like I have books where I just like sketch out ideas for tons of art that I'll probably never make. But
yeah, no, I'm just saying that like it's probably different than like the way I see it.
With me, it's the back of my mind. Right? I've talked to you before about front of mind, back of mind. Like front of mind, if you look at it in terms of like sound and voices, if you look at it in terms of sound and voices, like front of my mind would be like something that like I'm actually like hearing your voice right now. And back of my mind would be like me playing a voice in my head or something like that, you know? Same with visuals, right? The front of my mind is like, I see you. The back of my mind is like, okay, I can piece it together, but you can never fully focus on one piece. Otherwise it like goes away, right? But I can put together this like out of focus thing that I can use that as a base and then build and build and build and build and build. That's how it goes for me. But anyways, speaking of visuals, speaking of time.
Time.
What time is it, Monica?
It's time for drawing time!
It is
drawing time!
It's drawing time. For those of you who don't know, drawing time is the time when we draw. Wrote some ideas in a squid head. Monica is going to shake them up, and I will take one out, and we'll see what we get. If you have an idea, comment it below, and we'll pick it in our next video. Maybe. We'll put it in the hat. We'll do that at least. Shake! Let me pick.
Close your eyes.
I want this one.
You made one fall out when you were like,
It's one of mine. Monica and the aliens.
What does that mean? What am I doing?
It's Monica and the aliens.
Monica and the aliens.
Here's a good bright green to make you think about all those alien times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote this, but I don't really have an idea for it yet.
Well, you should, 'cause you wrote it.
I know.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. I don't know why I started singing. La 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 la. Okay, I'm gonna stop now.
Will you really? I don't believe you.
I'll start up later.
That's
when
good.
you're trying to be like, hey, Monica, let's be quiet. I'm gonna be like, ah, la, la, la. Ah, la, la, la. And then you'll be like, oh, no.
Sounds good to me. I am finished. Mine is completed.
I'm sorry.
'Tis the best you will ever
too
see.
long.
Kids these days. If you like our art and you need to fart, visit danicadaydreams.ca. Hit checkout on our website, and then, and only then, can you fart. I'm just kidding. Take the fart first, and then buy something. It's good medical advice. I'm not a doctor. Not even a little bit. I took first aid training once, but I forgot everything. I should be like third or fourth aid, but like I shouldn't be like the go-to guy, you know? Give me fourth aid training. Give me like the guy that's standing back going, oh, yay, somebody should do something about that. That's me. That's where I would excel. The hills are alive and the sound of music.
You ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready, Monica? Why don't you see mine first? I was going to say yours, but we saw yours first last time. I know that because I was just editing that today. Okay. So once again, it was Monica and the aliens. In my world, you're accidentally kidnapping them, but you think you're just having a good time. So here you are in a spaceship. You're yelling, woo, yeah, party time. You can see that guy's not looking happy. This dude here is frowning and he's saying, please, just let me go. I miss my family. And you can see down here, this is the alien police. Give them up now. And he's got little like cannons. He's threatening to shoot you, but like he probably won't because like the other aliens are there. And you're just there for a fun party, but you did accidentally kidnap them. So this is mine. What are your thoughts on it, Monica?
It's pretty good. I like this guy, the pink guy.
Yeah, he's a chill fella.
He looks like a piece of gum.
Yeah.
An evil piece of gum.
Well, I didn't want
He's an evil popo piece of gum.
I could see that. Well, why is he evil?
Because he wants to shoot me down. I'm just trying to have fun here.
You're kidnapping them.
I'm trying to have fun, It was a party in a spaceship,
Also, I didn't write it down, but like in my head, this has been going on for a week. All right, let's see yours. Let's see you top that.
I drew myself on a weird alien.
Oh no!
That's
is that a bow and arrow?
Yeah, he's like, I'm blowing bubbles and I'm having a good time, just floating along, riding an alien, and then here this guy's like, Monica in the sky, and then she can fly twice as high, and then this guy's like, take her down. The old guy with the cane's like, take her down. No. And then this guy's like there with an arrow ready to take me down.
So he's going to shoot you?
Yeah. Because he doesn't agree that I should be able to fly.
Well.
And this guy's like, but it's Monica. She can fly twice as high.
I like that in both of ours, we have you up in the sky and somebody pointing something that can shoot you down out of that sky.
Take her down.
I'm sorry that the aliens don't want you in the sky, Monica. You'll be okay. You'll be okay.
But I could fly great. Nobody knows if I could, but I think I'd be a great spaceship flyer.
If you have a spaceship and if you have a spaceship you'd be willing to lend to Monica to try to fly, let us know. Comment below. Let's arrange that.
Yeah.
NASA, we're here.
No, not real.
So,
spaceship.
Monica or Dan, who drew it best, and what should we draw next? Comment below, let us know, and yeah.
Yee.
So there's Monica, Dan. As always, if you like us and you want to support our business, or if you just think we're wearing some pretty cool shirts, shop online, danicadaydreams.ca or danicadaydreams.com. We make art, we sell it on the internet. Right now it's got aliens on it, and that's pretty chill.
Yeah, Danica Daydreams.
Danica Daydreams.
Oh!
So this has been the Danica Daycast, episode 22. I hope you enjoyed.
You know it.
We're going to be taking a few weeks off, and
Goodbye. We'll miss you.
We'll miss you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.